But the thing is that the activity is important, but so is the journey. So you're going to try different things, and some things, as some of you may have known, if you go back to your youth, when you were required to take an art class and they required you to draw, and you're like, I have this great idea, I want to draw this magnificent, wonderful image, and then you can only draw a stick figure and the line's kind of crooked, right? There's a lot of learning curve to a lot of these things, and there's going to be a lot of total failure, and that's okay, right? There's sometimes you'll try something and you're like, this works, but it's not something for me. Or there's some things that you try and you're like, that was the worst disaster I've ever had in my life. Don't remind me of it. Don't talk about it. If you talk about it, we're going to have to be friends. Like, we just can't be friends anymore. And then there's some things where you're like, okay, this is not the best for me, but I can do it. It's fine. It will work for now, essentially. And as I say, for me, for this journey, there's a couple of outcomes that happen. So one outcome is that you actually find something. This is something like, all right, I found the hobby that works for me, that gives me what I'm looking for in terms of improving those outside pieces. And that's kind of the best situation. And I really appreciate for those people can actually find that. I think that's something that's a great feeling to have, and it's always wonderful. Another situation is complete failure. You keep trying something, and you're like, every single time, it's just bombs. You're like, I like this, and I want to find creative hobby, but there's nothing that I can actually find. And in that case, it's really going back to getting used to being comfortable in that failure and trying and figuring out what actually you're missing and what's something you're actually looking for. And then, for some of you, you may just find that creative hobbies are just absolutely not your thing, which is totally fine. Not everybody is going to be interested in a creative hobby. Not everybody wants to do a creative hobby. And sometimes doing things doesn't actually have to have value. Just actually taking the time to do something else and try it is just as important as finding something that does have value to you.